Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here to Bearcats Media. We are live from Norwood University at the Cintas Center for Cincinnati Volleyball versus the Musketeers. My name is Justin Diedrich. I'm joined by Chase Jans. Chase, how are you tonight?
I'm doing good, man. Excited to be here at Norwood University, that is. But can't complain. We're in a comfortable spot. Excited to watch this battle between two Queen City teams that are looking to have a good season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm about as good as I can be being here, like you said. Very nice arena, though. I have to say, I have to stop my hate watch real quickly. Because this is a very nice arena. They were really, really nice. Hospitality here was great. They got us all set up in a nice booth. The A1 booth, you could say, here at Xavier. And we're ready for some volleyball actions after figuring out our technical difficulties. It took us quite a while, but we are excited to bring you guys some volleyball coverage. Looking at the game, your Bearcats come in at 4-2 so far in the season. They're 4-1 in their last 5. Their last win at Bellarmine is 3-0 back on the 7th of September. And their last loss just a day earlier versus UAB, they lost in 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at it. They've gone to 2 of these tournaments and went 2-1 in both of them. Every win they've had has been a sweep, 3-0 the entire time. But then again, they struggled against Illinois and UAB, like you mentioned, Justin. This is, again, when it comes to this is their first real road test. I know it's here in the city of Cincinnati, but again, with them playing in a tournament and playing against other host teams in that regard, it's a little different, though. It's a round robin. This is straight in rivalry territory. It's got to go down. Cincinnati hasn't beaten Xavier since 2021. Xavier got us last year and the year before that. Cincinnati's got to get out here, and they try to get the 5-2 tonight.
Yeah, and they've done so well so far. You mentioned those out-of-town tournaments, the Hampton Inn Invitational up there in Bowling Green, Ohio.
You love some BG, don't
and,
you?
I do. I have a soft spot for the Falcons in my heart.
Yes, you
and
do.
Then the Bellarmine Invitational down there, and, of course, Bellarmine, I'm pretty sure that's in Kentucky.
It is.
See, I was right on that one. And we got volleyball coming to you here. They are out in the huddles on the court. Fun fact. This is the first year of Xavier Volleyball having their own court.
That is true.
We were told by the Xavier media people before we started that they used to be just on the basketball court. Now they've got the full rolled out volleyball mat, which is really, really nice. They're a slight bit behind some of the other D1 universities, but nonetheless, it's really cool. The arena is set up great for volleyball and a good crowd.
Hey, we wish you guys could see what it looked like, but again, it's a blue border and it's a nice. It's kind of like that tile in a kitchen, you know. It's an updated like gray in there, you know. It's a really nice contrast and everything else, but a very good crowd, rivalry game. We're here on Bearcats Sports Radio. You can't get much better than this right now on a Thursday night.
Xavier ready to serve to start the game. It'll be Kelsey Neeson, the freshman from Cincinnati, Ohio, and we'll get things started. Picked up by the Bearcats. Setting smack to the other side. Xavier's going to return it. That one blocked by Legia Williams for the first points.
Way to get tall on that. Legia Williams, I mean, she is known for doing that. 23 blocks this year, 19 sets played. She had a team-high 71 blocks last year in Big 12 play. She will be big in this one.
Now the Bearcats take the 1-0 lead. They want to gain momentum. Serve that one was Faith Frame. Xavier's going to return that one, blocked into the net and down on the Cincinnati side, so Xavier will take it back. A good attempt by Abby Walker to try to get up and block that one. Just fell, unfortunately. Then the Musketeers will send it back to Cincinnati. Picked up in the ground. Set up and spiked. That one, Fallon Stewart with a strong hit. Xavier not able to get there in time.
Interesting about Fallon Stewart, she was AVCA first-team All-American and 4-time All-State team in Florida.
Sydney Nolan sends it over for Bearcats. Set up by the Musketeers, and a good save by Lily Gillespie to keep that one in. Tap over by Stewart. Musketeers return it. Stewart again spiking that one. The Musketeers defense standing strong and a light tap. And they're going to say that one hit the line.
See, looking at that, Xavier was trying to move it around and they found that open spot. Front part of the net, was able to get it over, but just not good enough for them in that regard.
No Bearcats were in the area. The closest one was Faith Frame. Now Logan Flaw sent it over for Xavier. Fallon Stewart again. The power behind those hits from Fallon Stewart. 2 of the Bearcats' 3 points have come from her.
I'll mention this later, but she comes from a very, very athletic background in her family. A lot of athletes playing at high level.
That one served into the net. So Cincinnati sends it right back. No team giving any room to break away. It's 3-3. The Xavier crowd showed out strong. There's a full section of fans in nothing but Speedos in the corner. And the band has also showed up, as well as the Blue Blob, which I'm not sure if it has a name other than Blue Blob, but that's what it is. Served out of bounds in the air for Xavier.
Yeah, that corner of Xavier people over there, that's typical.
Yeah, that's something. I mean,
that's bold, man. Wearing a Speedo here, that's wow.
They're doing their thing. Abby Walker with the serve for the Bearcats. Set up nicely for the Musketeers. Tapped at the net. Able to be controlled by Cincinnati. It'll be tapped over lightly. Xavier gets a chance, and that one knocked out of bounds.
Good job there by Cindy Nolan. I mean, that ball was coming really close. She's like, oh, I gotta get back. Gotta get back. Good enough for them.
Walker to serve again. Bearcats up 5-3 in this first set. Musketeers with a little trick. They get it over. Saved by Whittakin, and then Gia Williams taps it over. Smacked again. Leffler's going to set up Sydney Nolan. That one a little bit too strong. Musketeers take it back.
Yeah, Sydney Nolan playing on that back row. She's 6'4". Lawrence, Kentucky. Former UNC player, all ACC freshman team last year. Big get for the Bearcats in the transfer portal.
Yeah, Nolan's the team leader in kills, sets played, points, and she's second in digs and aces. I mean, what can't she do on the volleyball court? That time, it's Carly Glendening who smacks it over, was blocked in the net, and fell on the Xavier side. So now we'll see senior Caitlin Leffler serving for the Bearcats. She had 46 assists versus UAB on the 6th. That is the season high for her. And that one, a perfect set and a perfect kill by Margot Kemp, the redshirt freshman from King of Prussia, Pennsylvania.
That's a name right there, man.
What a city.
She's third on the team in kills, has 53 on the year, 21 blocks. One of their best players on this team. Redshirt freshman as well.
Eloise Jakowski sent it over for Xavier. Bearcats are going to return as Glendening, and that one misjudged a little bit and out of bounds on the sideline.
She tried that cross shot. It was very close, but again, working that line a little bit too much on there.
Musketeers send it back over. Whittakin taps it. Set by Leffler right to Glendening, and this time she makes up for that past mistake.
Hey, Glendening, that's her thing right there. Double-digit kills in 6 matches last year in Big 12 play. I mean, she does a really good job at that. She used to be second-team All-AAC as a freshman in 22-23. Wants to return to that form here in the Big 12.
We just saw Fallon Stewart and Lily Gillespie come back in for Cincinnati. It'll be Gillespie serving. A good dive by the Musketeers. Send that one over. Legia Williams taps it back lightly. Block attempt at the net. And that one off the hands of Williams and down on Cincinnati's side.
They put a little pass there. Back and forth, and then found the opening for Xavier.
Kelsey Neeson back up to serve for Xavier. She started the game off serving. 14 points ago. Now it's 7-7. Leffler's going to set Sydney Nolan, not able to be controlled by a diving attempt by Neeson. Good effort, but she's just not quick enough. Sydney Nolan hits that ball so fast.
That's the thing, man. I mean, Cincinnati has a lot of really good outside hitters and right side hitters. They use them to their advantage. They're going to be a tough team to stop a lot of these non-conference play.
Libero Faith Frame serving. A good serve. Might have gone out. Xavier kept it in. Blocked at the net by Abby Walker. That time, good job by Gillespie to keep it in. Leffler's get a set Stewart, and that one well placed in between two Musketeers.
Way to find that gap right there. Again, it's kind of like working a zone and trying to find that open spot. And again, great hit. Was able to attack right there on the corner. Bearcats 9-7.
Faith Frame still serving. She's the team leader in digs on the season with 72 coming into this game. Serves it cleanly again. Xavier's going to lightly tap it. Leffler's going to get in the air. Frame's going to set Stewart. And Stewart again.
Put it low right there. Again, I mean, Lucia Cosaro, she tried to go down there and get that. I mean, she has 70 digs on the season, just not good enough right there.
Xavier timeout. Fallon Stewart is causing some troubles on their side. 6'3" from Winter Park, Florida. The freshman has been a big part of the season so far, playing 17 sets in their games. I mean, she's causing troubles. How is Xavier going to stop her?
I mean, they just got to find ways to get there quicker in zones and everything. Again, Fallon Stewart, freshman from Winter Park, Florida. I mentioned this a minute ago. She has a very athletic background with her family. Her dad played for the Yankees. Her mom played basketball for UCF, and then her brother played volleyball at Indiana Purdue Fort Wayne. So again, that's a very athletic background right there. Fallon Stewart, she is living up to the hype as a freshman.
And when you see those athletic families, expectations come with that.
They do.
Right? I mean,
yeah.
You mentioned dad played for the Yankees, brother played volleyball as well. There's expectations, and like you said, Stewart's living up to that. I mean, she's been really, really good so far this season, and she's doing everything. It's not like, just kills, just points. She's got 3 blocks in the year, 26 digs as well, and team leader in serving aces.
And that's the big thing. When you're coming from an athletic family, you're going to, have that foundation that, okay, you're going to be competitive and you're going to have to go after it if you're playing sports. Okay, there's some families that, again, you have big-time athletes and then, the kids don't play sports. But if you're going to play sports, you're fully immersed into it and you got to go after it. And that has been the whole thing right there with the Stewart family.
Faith Frame's going to serve for the Bearcats coming out of the timeout. It's 10-7 here in set 1. Clean serve by Frame. Xavier's going to return. A great opportunity and a great kill by Emma Grace.
Yeah, looking at Emma Grace, I was able to talk to some people close into the Xavier organization. I mean, she's gritty, makes smart shots. I can't talk. She's very savvy, though. She's been here for a long time, redshirt junior from Villa Hills, Kentucky.
Margot Kemp serving for the Musketeers. That one almost graced the net. Leffler's going to fake the set and tap it over. That's a nice move.
A little pizzazz on that one, man.
It's a nice move. Boos from the crowd. Leffler's too smart.
That's savvy right there.
Did they call that Xavier point?
I'm assuming they did then. Wow.
They might have called a lift now that I'm thinking about it.
That could be the case.
Either way, Kemp is still serving for the Musketeers. My best guess is lift on Leffler, and that one out of the reach of the diving Sydney Nolan.
That's a good play by Sarah Stevens, though. Up at the net, 6'3", finds the ball really well. Great athlete.
And so 3 in a row for Margot Kemp and the Musketeers. Tie things up at 10. Oh! Faith Frame has a run and knocked over the fence.
Faith Frame went outside of the frame on that one. I mean, you got to say this. I mean, they've got fences on the back line behind both X's. The fact that she was able to go out there and try to make a play, you've got all the crowd clapping right now. You even got the guys in Speedos from Xavier clapping.
And she's okay. She knocked over the entire fence. I mean, every single fence has been knocked down. She plowed through them, got back up unharmed.
Oh, man. Knocked over the white picket fences. Don't get Tom Sawyer out there to paint those. Isn't that something?
A called timeout. I'm assuming they're going to be picking the fences up. Or they might just leave them down. I mean,
I don't know. They've got 7 or 8 they got to pick up.
Oh, no. They've got the interns out here setting them back up. There we go.
You got the interns out here and the interns mopping the court, too, man. I mean, there's been a lot of good stuff going on in this court, so I'm excited to see what comes up in the next minute or so.
Yeah, we'll take a slight break here while they set back up the court, and we'll be back with some more volleyball action. Returning with some volleyball action. Back, they've set the fences completely back up. Court is back to normal. Xavier took the lead before that timeout, 11-10 here in set one. It's been tight volleyball action. Kemp that time with a light serve, kind of floated over. Nolan taps that one over, blocked the net. Xavier's gonna get a chance to return. That one was Grace. Ooh, a sliding pickup.
She's
by
safe.
Frame. Grace again, and off the hands of Nolan, landed out of bounds.
Well, Xavier got the point on that one, but Faith Frame went into the frame on that one and slid across the floor. That was a heck of a play. They got to battle back, though.
5 in a row for the Musketeers. Bearcats need an answer. That one picked off the ground by Stewart, and that one knocked off of the face of Faith Frame.
Yeah.
Make that 6 in a row.
Yeah, they misjudged that one. They just gave it a pop-up and then just tossed a meatball right down into the earth.
Norwood is rolling. Kemp taps that one over again. Good pickup by Frame. Nolan taps that one over. Nolan again. That one blocked down by Emma Grace. The Musketeers have picked up a lot of steam.
They have. They definitely have. They've found a way, and they're doing a really good job right now. They've gotten on that run. Game of runs, you know, that's all sports in college.
Kemp with a stronger serve this time, picked up by Nolan. Leffler's gonna set Nolan. Block attempt and then double hit off the block and out of bounds. Cincinnati takes it back. They're down 11-14.
They needed to stop that bleeding there. Hopefully, in this regard, they can do that.
Sydney Nolan serves that one over. 2 Musketeers dive for it. They pick it up. Grace taps it lightly over. Frame to Leffler. Leffler sets Walker with a lightly placed tap. Almost hit the ground, but it was picked up. Leffler's going to set Walker for a second time, and that one good up by the Musketeers. Rally forming. Frame runs into the picture.
Good run around.
Keeps it up now. Stewart is blocked at the net for a Musketeer point.
That was some good volleyball going on by both sides there. I mean, you can't get mad about that. Xavier, they found themselves in a nice run. Cincinnati's got to try to get it back and see what they can do.
Served over by the Musketeers. Frame hits that one high in the air, and Fallon Stewart knocks that one in the net. Kind of hard to judge that when it's coming down from so high.
Yeah, it's that, not necessarily depth perception, but at the same time, it's just the timing of it. That's just, you know, it'll click the more that it's seen in these big arenas.
Logan Flaw sends it over. Leffler's got a perfect set to Stewart. Lightly tap. Flaw got it up. Now Grace taps it over. Faith Frame tried to dive to get over it. Just not quick enough by a second.
Xavier's just finding the spots right now. They really are. They're trying to move it back and forth, and then they're just attacking on the sides. They're doing a really good job right now.
Cincinnati started out strong earlier in the set. We're starting to see not necessarily fatigue, just a little bit of disorder as that one blocked at the net again by the tandem of Emma Grace and Sarah Stevens. And a timeout by Molly Alvey. She clearly wants to talk some things over with her team.
Defensively, though, Xavier's being sound right now. They've got all hands on the net. They're able to make plays and react really quick. Cincinnati's got to try to find a way to set things up and try to get over the top or try to cross it.
Musketeers leading here deep in set one, 18-11. We'll be back after a short break here on Bearcats Media. Back from that timeout. The band was playing during that timeout. Me and Chase decided to get groovy with it.
Get a little down the drive.
Down the drive, and a Xavier family gave us an odd look in the booth here.
They did. Hey, they're in Norwood, so
they're not used to down the drive.
They definitely aren't.
Volleyball action back underway. Leffler's going to set Walker once again blocked at the net by that same tandem right before the timeout. Grace and Stevens.
Stevens is just getting after it right now. I mean, again, she's a redshirt senior, and Emma Grace, redshirt junior. They've seen pretty much everything you could have thrown at them.
Flaw still serving for the Musketeers. Leffler this time sets Stewart. Good job by the Musketeers. I don't know how they picked that one up. Off of two hands, somehow got it in the air. They're going to return this one again. And off of Stewart, out of bounds. The Musketeers just can't be stopped.
The communication seems a bit off with Cincinnati.
It does. Some of these passes aren't what I'm used to seeing from the Bearcats. I mean, especially, I know this is a different team.
Yeah.
You remember the games last year, the passing was on point. They seem to be communicating well on the court. And maybe it's the road environment, but they're just not doing that tonight.
Yeah.
It is only set one. Leffler sets Stewart in that one. Really well placed in the back left corner. Could that be what gets the Bearcats back on track?
Hey, I mean, the Bearcats were up by 4 earlier. I believe it was 11-7, and then Xavier had, a point that got them, and they went on a huge run themselves. So we'll see. This is the first point Cincinnati's had in a minute.
Julie Whittakin serves for the Bearcats. They're going to set Stevens, and that one almost sideways slapped and too strong off the back line.
They actually gave it to him.
I think that was tipped.
It might have been. Because, that was definitely far. But, again, we're pretty high up here, and we're not complaining one bit because this booth is nice. But you can't see all
It's hard to see some of the finer details at times.
Indeed.
Leffler's going to serve that behind her head, tapped over lightly by Walker. Musketeers reset and get a nice opportunity. Leffler this time to Glendening. Bearcats with light taps over, not really killing the ball. Walker this time will. Good pickup by the Musketeers, and that one off the hands of Glendening and still in no matter what.
Anna Taylor leads the team in kills coming into this game, 61 of them. 6 foot, redshirt junior from St. Louis, Missouri. She's been really good this year.
Musketeers defense has just been on point. And that one, a rare mistake from Emma Grace, a serving error. Side out Cincinnati, it's 13-22. They are down.
Molly Harrison serving?
I believe that is.
She stopped me earlier.
Was
on Main Street.
Was this with the TikTok?
It was.
She was the one who stopped you?
I believe it was her.
For context, Chase was telling me that the volleyball team was out filming a TikTok earlier to promote the game and ask who's going to the game. Funny enough, they stopped the guy who was broadcasting the game.
They did, and I'm like, hey, funny enough, we're actually calling the game. Like, oh, that's awesome. So yes, we are here. We're supporting our UC student athletes and fellow students here. So hopefully they can get a win tonight. And right now, I mean, they're down 9. Hopefully they can get some things figured out. It's a long game. Just got to find that rhythm.
Harrison, the defensive specialist from Cleveland, Ohio. Big up, Cleveland.
I would not agree with you on that.
Knocked over cleanly. Lightly tapped over. Good job by Glendening to pick that one up. And tapped over by Legia Williams for a point. Down by 8, deep into set 1.
Try to garner as many points as you can in this stretch and just try to go on a run here.
Harrison knocks it over cleanly. Musketeers going to get a good opportunity. They tap it. Leffler to Glendening. Up by Xavier. Blocked at the net by Williams and Leffler. Blocked again. Musketeers trying to get it over. They can't. Now they do. Harrison taps it. Leffler tries to kick it over. That one kept up by
Good
Harrison.
recovery.
We've got a rally. A play at the net. Cincinnati cheers, and they get it.
This is the point where you have to take advantage. It was a long volley. It was a long round right there. Cincinnati getting the point gives them confidence. Hopefully they can keep riding this thing. Go down the drive.
Everyone took part in that one.
They did.
It's weird here. They've moved Loeffler to the outside, almost playing a hitter at the end of this set. She's normally a setter, and she has been hitting the ball over. Taps that one to Williams. Picks it up and diving Caitlin Loeffler. Glendinning kill off the hands of Grace and out of bounds.
Energy shifting. Hopefully the momentum's coming forward. You're hearing some boos. You're hearing a lot of cheers. There's a lot of red, whole lot of red in this arena right now. But Cincinnati trying to fight back in this first set.
Timeout, Musketeers. They're leading the Bearcats 22-16, but not without a Cincinnati rally to cause this timeout.
They've been doing a good job at the net. I'll say that. I mean, Legia Williams had a stretch where she had a few blocks, and like you mentioned with Caitlin Loeffler, she's playing on the outside right now, right side. Like normally she's a setter, has 186 assists coming into the season. Kind of switched her up a little bit. She's doing a pretty good job overall. So, it's interesting to see what the changes are. And again, you can kind of use some stuff in out-of-conference play to, move people around at different positions and try some people out. And hopefully by the time you get the conference play, things are ironed out.
You've got it figured out by then. Loeffler, experienced player. She's a senior. She spent the 2021 and 2022 seasons at Illinois State out there in Illinois. What city is that in?
You know what? Let's ask Google. What city Illinois State's in? I know there's called Chicago State. Actually.
I feel like it's a city that I know, but I can't think of it right now.
Well, it's a pretty normal response in this regard.
What is it?
I just said it.
Is it Chicago?
No, it's a pretty normal response.
Normal?
Yes.
It's in Normal, Illinois?
Normal, Illinois, yeah.
Well, nothing normal about Caitlin Loeffler because she's an amazing volleyball player.
Yes, she is.
Blocked at the net by the Bearcats. Musketeers get another opportunity. That one went right between Loeffler and Legia Williams and on the Cincinnati side.
That was Quincy Thomas on that. She's gotten some playing time. Only played 10 sets this year out of the 24 or 25 now, but see if she can get involved for Xavier.
Xavier takes it back. It's going to be Lucia Corsaro.
That's a name.
Loeffler to Glendinning, a powerful hit, and point Bearcats.
Cincinnati doesn't have much breathing room left in this first set, but 23-17, see what happens. It was Lucia Corsaro.
It's an interesting name.
It is.
Took me a second. That one served too strong off the back line by Caitlin Loeffler. 24-17. Musketeers trying to take this first set away from the Bearcats, and they're on the verge of doing it. It'll be Eloise Zajakowski. That's a really tough name.
That's a name, though. It is a name.
Tapped over by Glendinning, and Grace tried to run to save that one, and she couldn't get there in time. Cincinnati stays alive for the time being.
Yeah, Eloise Tchaikovsky. That's a name right there. 19 sets played, 5 assists, 38 digs.
I had to do a triple look at the name.
Had to sound it out.
Carly Glendinning sends this one over, controlled easily by Grace. Now tapped to Quincy Thomas, and that one really weirdly tapped out of bounds off the back line. It was, think of an ephus pitch in baseball. She tapped it, and it just floated through the air and out of bounds.
You throw that pitch in wiffle ball?
I actually don't. I would rather pump a riser like 50 miles per hour at your head.
You tried it.
Glendinning's going to put this one in the air, and it's going to be hit over by Stewart. A strong hit.
Dang.
And they're going to say that one hit the ground. Originally, the Xavier bench was cheering. They gave it to him, and we're going to switch sides for set two. Xavier takes that one 25-19. I think there's some things the Bearcats can build on towards the end of that set.
Yeah, they had a couple opportunities there, just trying to find that momentum to arrive. They'd be better defensively. There were a lot of times where Xavier was just finding open spots and really just being sound on the front end of the line. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
We've got about 2 minutes and 30 seconds here before the second set. Grab your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen, because there's more volleyball. We'll be back here after a short break on Bearcats Media. Back here for set 2 between the Bearcats and the Musketeers. Bearcats fell in set 1, 25-19. A mid-set rally by the Musketeers put them up. Bearcats were never able to recover, although they put together some solid points towards the end of that set.
They did.
Set 2, they're going to want to look to not get behind like they did.
Yes, they have to stay ahead of the curve, put the pressure on them. And again, if you guys want to keep track of the score, we got it here in the live chat if you want.
Yeah, we've somehow, after years of doing this, we've just now figured out that we should put the score in the live chat. So
okay, I think a year. We haven't done it for years. You'll get to doing it for years.
None of the other directors did it, though.
That's true.
We're innovating here at Bearcats Media.
Yes, and they set a good table for us, and we're going to keep going with the good table and add some more stuff. But yes.
Shout out, listeners. We appreciate you guys always being on Bearcats Media. We broadcast pretty much any sporting event we can here at Cincinnati. So if you want to keep up with Bearcat sports, you're going to want to do it on Bearcats Media. First point is going to go to Cincinnati.
Good plug, Justin.
I do my thing, Chase. I like to,
do.
shameless plugs here every once in a while. It's a habit from YouTube.
There you go. I know it too.
Bearcats take 1-0. Carly Glendening serves. That one, strong, powerful hit. I mean, that boomed. Margot Kemp.
I had to wipe my glasses off.
6'3"
to see that correctly.
I mean, I heard that from up here like very, very clearly.
Yes, it was very audible on that one.
Musketeers serve it over. Leffler's going to set Sydney Nolan. Tap back. Leffler this time, Nolan again. Right into the hands of the Musketeers. Blocked at the net by Legio Williams. That play goes on the Cincinnati side. Frame puts it up in the air to Nolan. A good diving effort. Keep it up for the Musketeers. That one upped by Glendening. Little miscommunication there. Legio Williams taps it over. Bearcats still alive, and that one way too strong and out of the back line. Cincinnati point.
Yeah, you mentioned that miscommunication there. It was going to be a setup for Legio Williams, try to spike it down in the middle of the court, right by the net. I mean, they just got to try to get on pace with that. And if they're able to do that, then, I mean, this could be a really good thing for Cincinnati.
Faith Frame gets it over for the Bearcats. Emma Grace smacks that one, and that just falls after the block attempt by Cincinnati onto their side. So 2-2, pretty similar to how that first set started.
Yep.
Neither team really pulling out to an early lead. Kemp serves, set by Leffler to Walker, blocked. Leffler tapped it back up. Frame to Nolan, off the hands of the blocking Musketeers, and Bearcats side out.
They got to try to get Sydney Nolan going. She leads the team in kills. She's done really good on digs, tons of blocks. I want to see this UNC transfer get after it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Sydney Nolan is the tallest player on either of these teams at 6'4".
She's my height.
Chase,
She feel
you got to play some I feel like you would be a great volleyball player.
If I got the finer things down, I would say we didn't have men's volleyball in high school. I just took basketball, but I wouldn't mind trying it again.
3-3, Musketeers serve it over. Set by Leffler to Stewart. Over the net, tapped over by Walker. Glendening tried to keep that one up, just off her hands, and went way over towards the band. The band has the ball. They throw it back in. It's all good. They've got like 18 different volleyballs surrounding the court. They're ready for one to leave.
They have like 18 people in that band, too.
Leffler lightly tapped over by Stewart. An opportunity for the Musketeers. Blocked by Stewart. Frame is going to set up Stewart. And it's recovered again by the Musketeers. Glendening, good eye there to duck out of the way, not hit it, and it went strong out of the back line.
Reflexes. There you go. That ball went right over top of her, almost grazed the shoulder and the forehead, but just able to duck on out of there and give Bearcats a point.
Julie Whittekind in, the senior from Cincinnati. Defensive specialist, played 13 sets on the year, 14 if you're counting that first set today. She gets it over cleanly. Musketeers block and they return it. Walker, a powerful hit and return right off the hands of the Musketeers. This time tap over by Glendening. Falls out of bounds off of the block by the Musketeers. So Cincinnati point. They're up 5-4 early in set two.
That hit from Abby Walker, that thing had a lot of heat on it. And just on the block, it returned back over to Cincinnati's side. Good play by Glendening, though.
Emma Grace off the fingertips of Walker and Leffler. And Bearcats not able to get to that one, so they take it 5-5, side out Musketeers. And it will be Grace who just got the point for Xavier, now serving.
Then going back and forth, we'll see if some team can break away at this moment.
Faith Frame taps it up. Leffler, great set. She set that with one hand while running.
That was awesome.
To Glendening, who just perfectly dug into that ball, and a kill.
That was awesome. Leffler to Glendening. Again, it's a combo you've seen the last 2 years now, and hopefully we see some more of that going forward in the season.
Abby Walker serves it over. Loosely controlled by the Musketeers. They barely get that one returned over. Leffler's going to tap that off the hands of Sarah Stevenson on the ground. Cincinnati up 2. Walker, again, a clean serve. And blocked, kept up by Xavier. Leffler's going to have a set to Legio Williams. Perfect timing. right off the hand of Caitlin Leffler. Williams dug into that one, placed it in the back corner for a Bearcat point.
Wow, set it up on the plate. Here's dinner for you. Takes it down. That was a great play by Legia Williams.
Dug in and kept up by the Musketeers. They set up Anna Taylor perfectly that time. We didn't see much of Anna Taylor in that first set for the Musketeers, and that time she got a great opportunity and took advantage of it. Side out, Xavier. It'll be Corsaro again, serving for Musketeers. Legia Williams keeps it up off the net. It'll be Leffler set to Glendening. That hit back corner. I thought it hit back corner.
Oh, yeah.
Molly Alvey is out and not happy talking to Faith Frame right now. I really thought that hit back line.
It looked like it, though. You saw Glendening come into the huddle. She was like, oh, it looked like it was in, you know?
Corsaro serving again. They gave it to the Musketeers. Leffler sets Nolan. Light tab, and Corsaro dives. Full dolphin dive to keep that one up. Leffler again to Legia Williams for a Cincinnati point. Those two have been working together very well in the second set.
They have, and it's got to continue. Again, I mean, you got a 2-point lead now. See what can go on. And I like the Dolphin plug in there. Those Dolphins, Thursday Night Football tonight, too. There you go.
I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah.
You're going to want to tune into that after the end of the volleyball game.
Stress that after this game.
A good serve by Leffler. Put it right in the middle where no Musketeer to get to it. A dive attempt by Corsaro wasn't enough. Cincinnati with the lead, 10-7. This is literally almost where it exactly was in set one. They led 11-7 in set one before the Xavier Musketeers went on their run. Musketeers going to return it. A diving attempt by Whittakin to keep it up, and she's not able to control that one. So instead of being 11-7 like it was in that first set, it is 10-8 Musketeers. Cincinnati. That's my bad. Messed that one up. Leffler's going to set to Nolan. Perfectly placed. Sydney Nolan knocks that one through. 11-8 Cincinnati. Fix myself that time.
Yeah, we're Cincinnati and they're Norwood, man.
And a timeout by Norwood as Molly Alvey's got her team rolling here in set two. They're leading 11-8. As we'll take a short break here on Bearcat Sports Radio. Coming back out of the timeout, Cincinnati leading 11-8 here in set two. They dropped set one, if you weren't here for that one, 25-19. Xavier went on a mid-set run to take a huge lead, and the late rally by the Bearcats wasn't enough.
You know, they sometimes say that imitation is flattery. And, you know, after timeouts and stuff, you know, the Bearcats running down and back, the girls that aren't in the game, they're on the bench. Apparently it's the Xavier swim team that's over there in Speedo, so that makes a little more sense. Running up and down the bleachers. I don't know what that means, but won't go that far into it. They're pretty active, though.
Carly Glendening out of the timeout with a serving error into the net. Side out Xavier. We'll see Kelsey Neeson checking right back in for the Musketeers and taking the serve. Good job by Frame. Tat went up in the air. Leffler to Legia Williams again.
Yep. It's got to be Legia Williams' game. Excuse me. She has had a pretty big impact in this second set.
I mean, I feel bad for the ball because it's getting smacked around by the Bearcats right now.
There's many volleyballs out there, but all of them have the imprint and signature of Legia Williams on them.
The ball is shaking in its boots right now. It does not want to go back to Legia Williams. This time it'll be Fallon Stewart who smacks it over
scary.
For another point.
A shiver me timbers. Isn't that something? Compose yourself.
13-9 Cincinnati. Faith Frame serving.
We're locked in.
Tapped over by Kemp. Walker's going to get it up to Leffler. Set to Stewart. The ball is begging for mercy now. It's past being afraid.
It definitely is. My goodness. Lucia Corsaro. I mean, she got some ice on her face after that one. Wow.
14-9. Tied for the largest lead of the night for Cincinnati. They had a 5-point lead earlier in set one. Leffler is going to set Sydney Nolan. Good up by the Musketeers. And Glendening took a business decision to not dive at that one. I don't think she was going to get to it either way.
Yeah, most businesses are 9 to 5, and in that regard, you don't want to dive after it. It's a little past 6:30 p.m., but off that note, that was just a great shot by Xavier. It's so far in the zone. I mean, you're not going to get to that. Live to fight another.
Locked in a battle in set two. That serve tapped the net. Controlled by Cincinnati, and once again, it's Fallon Stewart.
Fallon Stewart again on the outside. She's doing a really good job. She's been moving around and making some really good plays.
Sydney Nolan will serve for the Bearcats. They're up 5. Once again, tied for their largest lead tonight. They're trying to make their largest lead 6. And unable to be controlled. That was off the outstretched arm of Nolan. Glendening and Frame both tried to make a run down, but they weren't able to get to it in time.
I gotta give them credit. Again, that ball was pretty far out there, and the fact that they were able to make some sort of effort to it was pretty impressive.
Served by Logan Flaw, controlled by the Bearcats. Great set by Leffler to Fallon Stewart, and Fallon Stewart is fired up. She's yelling in the huddle. There's boos.
A lot of fire from Fallon, so got to give her some water and hopefully spark that fire back up. She gets back in. This is going to be a big part of trying to win this set.
Julie Whittakin back in for Fallon Stewart, and Whittakin will serve. A great set and a great tap over. Anna Taylor, who we mentioned very at the beginning of this set too, knocks that one in a perfect spot right in front of Faith Frame.
Yeah.
16-12, the Bearcats have been trying to pull away. They're stuck in this 3, 4, 5 range of their lead.
It's right there. Just got to try to break through.
A powerful serve put up in the air by Whittakin. Leffler set to Glendening. A great job by Emma Grace to dive and knock that one in the air.
Wow.
It'll be tapped over. Nolan saves it. Leffler to Glendening. Carcero dives and keeps that one up. Now Frame will get it up in the air. Glendening again, and that time well placed.
Well, you know old sayings, third time's a charm. It's literally, it looked like it was repeat, repeat, repeat. Deja vu, deja vu. The same type of hit in the same type of spot, and a different result comes out of it once Carly Glendening was able to find that spot.
Now we see Molly Harrison in to take the serve, giving Abby Walker a water break. Harrison comes in with the serving air, and she'll be subbed right back out. Walker will be back in.
Yeah, again, Justin, they're just kind of hovering in that up 4, up 3, up 4 area. They got to try to break through. Have to.
And Cincinnati's played a lot better in this set, too. They look more like the team we expected to see. But Xavier's hanging around. Glendening blocked at the net, controlled by the Musketeers. Tapped over well out of bounds. Quincy Thomas too strong on that one. Cincinnati's lead back up to 5. It's 18-13.
I'm interested to hear what Molly Alvey, head coach for the Bearcats, said in between sets and in the transition. But Bearcats are playing pretty good right now.
Corsaro gets it up. Grace is going to tap it over. Leffler, set. Sydney Nolan off the block attempt by Margot Kemp on the ground on the Xavier side, and the Cincinnati Bearcats have taken their largest lead at any point tonight with 6. 19-13 here in set 2. Timeout Musketeers. Their gun has run out of gunpowder as the Bearcats have taken their largest lead.
Yeah, I mean, trying to break through and trying to break that gap. Justin, I love the references tonight.
My mind has been working very well today.
It definitely is, man. I'll tell you that. Your mind's an interesting place, is all I'll say.
You don't want to know what goes on inside there. I'll tell you that.
You've told me a couple things, but nothing crazy, though. It's nothing out of the picture. But
you guys are enjoying Bearcat Sports Radio, of course. The Cincinnati Bearcats are playing this Saturday at noon in Oxford, Ohio for a football matchup. The Victory Bell, my good friend here right next to me, Chase Yance, will be on the call with Aiden Riggs. That'll be fun.
It should be fun. We're going to be outside in the, in a booth, 30-yard line. Should be fun to see some action football up close. It's going to be fun. And then also on Saturday, Kent State plays against Cincinnati. It's going to be, I believe, 1 o'clock is when the game will begin. Chris Pagan will be on the call, and we'll see who else is going to come after that as well. Our good friend and former director, Ethan Herzog, will be running camera that game. He was supposed to be calling the game, but we're going to get some things moved around. But that Cincinnati-Kent State game is going to be a good one to watch.
It will be. I think Cincinnati, they're 1-0 against the MAC this year. Right?
MAC attack.
They beat the Bowling Green Falcons at the Hampton Inn Invitational. They play Akron as well this season, so they got a lot of action for the Bearcats.
Play Akron next week, actually.
Yeah. Back into action, not in action. Leffler serves it over. Now sets Glendening right to Grace. Grace looked hurt a little bit. Now she's going to smack it over out of bounds. She is okay, but anytime you absorb a hit by Carly Glendening, it's not going to feel good.
Not one bit. I don't think a helmet could even do anything about that one. That ball there's a lot of fire coming off that ball, I'll tell you that.
Caitlin Leffler serves it again. Bearcats lead by 7. Here in set 2, make that 6.
And a Taylor on that one.
We'll see Eloise Jakowski. Did I get that right this time? Jakowski.
Yep.
Serving for the Musketeers. Whittakin picks it up. Leffler to Glendening.
Woo.
Well placed once again for Carly Glendening.
Finding the spots.
It's 21-14 football score here in set 2.
Yeah, gotta love some football, man. It's that time of year. Bengals, come on.
That did not look good, Chase.
Cleveland didn't look good either, but hey, we gotta turn it up.
Set to Grace. I'm not exactly sure what they called. I think potentially a lift on the set attempt by the Musketeers.
Very possible.
Point goes to the Bearcats. They did just signal to the Xavier head coach. It was a lift on the set. 22-14. Cincinnati trying to extend their largest lead. Picked up the set. The spike into the net, blocked by Williams, picked up by Xavier, and that one too strong out of bounds. The Musketeers thought there might have been a tip off Legia Williams' fingers. There was not. 23-14. Bearcats have gone in their same little rally that the Musketeers went last set.
Gotta follow through here. Don't let them get any points. Try to put that stamp on this one.
Glendening's serve returned and tapped over by Kemp out of bounds. So set point, 24-14. The Bearcats have dominated late into set 2. Glendening, serve. Not able to be controlled by Emma Grace and the Musketeers. Out of bounds. Cincinnati wins set 2, 25-14, and they tie this thing up at 1-1.
That's how you put a mark. That's really how you do it. I mean, they didn't allow, once they were able to break through, they didn't allow Xavier any opportunity again. And, that we mentioned this before we got done with the first set. I mean, Cincinnati kind of came back, had a little momentum. Xavier finished it off. But Cincinnati took that momentum. They took it over here to set 2. And they had a really good performance right there, winning by 11.
I mean, Florida State, take notes. That is how you bounce back from a defeat. Right there. Bearcats storm back to take set 2. They tie this thing up at a 1-1. We'll take short 4-minute break here before we get back to set 3 action here at the Cintas Center on Bearcat Sports Radio. Returning here for set 3 action here at the Cintas Center. Cincinnati lost the first set 25-19. They come back and win the second one 25-14. So we are all knotted up at 1-1.
I saw someone walk down with nachos. I'm really hungry.
Me and Chase ran right from class to get here to Norwood. Got our stuff set up with not too much time to go. Dedicated to the craft.
We love announcing and we love UC volleyball.
Bearcats took the first point. I'm not going to lie, I did not see what happened. Faith Frame serves, and that one in air, side out, Xavier.
Hey, you know we had the point, though. We got the point. That's
we
all
got the
we
point.
need to
That's
know
what matters.
at the moment. That's all we need to know. We're wired in. We, had to take a little breather.
It'll be Kemp serving for Xavier, 1-1 here in set 3. Nolan taps it up. Leffler sets. Stewart kept up by Kemp. Return by the Musketeers. Walker gives it to Leffler. Set on the opposite side to Stewart. This time kept up again. Blocked at the net by Walker. And that one out of bounds. Good call by Fallon Stewart. She was the first one to yell out. Point Cincinnati.
Set 3 is always a big determining one. It can shift the momentum. It can decide a game because you think about it. Hey, you're up 2-0. Win the game right here. If it's 1-1, it's going to break a tie. Set 3 is always one to look out for in these games. And we got a tied one, man. It's going to be interesting.
Sydney Nolan sends it over for the Bearcats. Grace kind of awkwardly taps that one back, but returned by Xavier. Great opportunity for Fallon Stewart, and she takes full advantage. Pumps that one right at Kelsey Neeson. She's not able to control that.
Fallon Stewart again, making a mark on the game, playing on the outside. She's been doing a really good job so far.
(3-1) Cincinnati, and serving air by Sydney Nolan. It'll be side out Xavier. Logan Flaw, the senior from Powell, Ohio, serving. Faith Frame got it up, but just no one was in position for a second hit.
Miscommunication right there. I don't know if they're going to try to pass it over to Leffler or Abby Walker, trying to set something up right there, but it just looked like, again, miscommunication overall.
This time Frame has it. She gets it up cleanly to Stewart. Kept in by Emma Grace. That one might have gone out of bounds if Grace didn't touch it, but it works out for Xavier anyways. It's a well-placed hit right in between Nolan and Glendening for a Xavier point.
Like a quarterback thrown between two hook zone linebackers on a dig.
You're all ready for football Saturday, huh?
I am. The prep is here, but hey, we got this task at hand. That was a great hit, though, right in between.
Return by Xavier. It's Taylor. Blocked at the net and out of bounds off of Abby Walker. Anna Taylor left her mark in set 2. She was one of the bright spots for the Musketeers in that one. She's serving. Walker gets to Leffler. Leffler set to Stewart. Blocked by Taylor. Now set to Taylor. Diving Faith Frame tried to keep it up. Couldn't get to it. Both Glendening and Frame dove. Neither of them were there.
Yeah, just a low return and trying to get after it was Frame. Frame's been all over the floor tonight. She's been trying her hardest to go after some of those tough balls. She even went into the fence on this side, but again, see if Cincinnati gets something going.
Dive by Stewart to keep it up. Lightly tapped over by Abby Walker. Return for Xavier. Frame hits it. Leffler set to Stewart. Tried to tap it over. Now Leffler again. Stewart again. Blocked at the net again.
Great defense.
Glendening. Stewart. Too strong and out of bounds.
That's the thing, though. If you're playing good defense at the net, you're looking at, Anna Taylor, Sarah Stevens up front. They're doing a really good job. But if it's still short and the ball is getting blocked, you're going to try to overcompensate, and that's exactly what happened there. That ball was overcompensated and went out the back end, and then it kind of messes with outside hitters at this point.
They took that away from Xavier, saying it was tapped off the fingers.
That works.
So Julie Whittakin subs in and will serve for the Bearcats. It's 6-4. Taylor smacks into the net, still goes over. Leffler sets. Nolan kept up by the Musketeers. And that one, Frame just wasn't able to maneuver in time. She kind of was turned sideways to it, couldn't reach over.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tough acrobatic thing to get out of the way. It just wasn't good enough in that regard.
Tapped over by Glendening. Off the hands of the Musketeers for a Cincinnati point. Seven to 6, Xavier. Walker served. Return by the Musketeers. Glendening hits that one too strong off the back line. Side out. Musketeers, they lead 8-6 here in set 3. The whole match is tied 1-1. Served over by Corsaro, returned by Glendening. Corsaro blocks that hit by Glendening, just goes right back over. And Carly Glendening will not be denied a third time. That one was better placed in the first two and in for a Bearcat point.
A really good job there by Glendening, and was able to do a lot of good stuff there.
Leffler serves. Kemp knocks that one and out of bounds off the sideline. Tied up at 8 here in set 3. Leffler serves it over, and that one just floated out of bounds too strong.
Yeah, it's a tight game, 9-8, just going back and forth. We'll see at what point does either team break away in this one.
Musketeers serve. Tapped up, Leffler, set, Glendening, blocked. Diving Musketeers, can't get to it on time as it falls right on the Big East logo and out of bounds.
Awkward handle on it right there for Xavier. I mean, just a great play by Cincinnati on the cross shot, and see if they can get this thing back and get some points.
Musketeers knocked that one over, kept up by Frame. Leffler, set, Stewart, kept a great up by Emma Grace. Stewart's going to dive in front, keep it up, set to Nolan. Blocked once again. Musketeers playing strong at the net. Stewart's going to up it again. This time Williams tries to tap it over to confuse the defense. Doesn't work. And a blocked at the net by Legia Williams.
Again, putting her mark on this game. She's done a really good job. There was a good volley back and forth by both teams right there, but Cincinnati able to come away with it on that one.
Coming into this matchup, Legia Williams is second on the team in blocks with 23 on the year. That one knocked over, kept up by Frame. Blocked again at the net by Legia Williams.
Wow. That point's going to go with Xavier on that one, but still, that was quite impressive.
10-10 here in set 3. Musketeers serve it over as Neeson out of bounds, was close to that back corner. Line judge said no.
Yes, and we mean very close on that one.
Faith Frame serves it. Musketeers try to tap it over. It goes off Walker, and now Frame's able to lightly return it. Blocked at the net by Walker. Frame to Leffler, to Abby Walker. Tapped and controlled. Now Margot Kemp will hit it over. Leffler again to Walker. A great rally, and it's finished off by a well-placed hit by Emma Grace.
Looking at Leffler on that. That thing was going to go over the net. And she just said, I'm going to tap it back over here, try to set something up. I mean, it was a great effort there. But, I mean, 11-11, make a wish. That's your score right now.
Everything is tied up. 1-1, 11-11. Who's going to break it? Leffler to Glendinning, blocked to the net. She taps it over herself. That one in on the sideline.
Wow.
And so it's Margot Kemp and the Musketeers who break it, 12-11.
That's pretty impressive right there. Painting it on that back corner and trying to break the lead here and see if Xavier has some momentum or can our Cats swing it back.
Walker hits it. Leffler set. It's Stewart.
Ooh.
Fallon Stewart, powerful hit right to the ground. Might have caused a crater in the middle of the Cintas Center.
Eloise Tchaikovsky almost caught that thing like she was trying to go to the ground and secure a catch.
Sydney Nolan serves off the net, almost caused troubles for the Musketeers. Grace is going to return it, and on the sideline was close to being out of bounds. Xavier takes the lead back at 13-12.
It's been going back and forth. We'll see if someone can break away and how this thing will play out. At that substitution right there. And Gretchen Sigmund in the game.
Second time she's been in tonight. She was in early in set one when the Bearcats were having their struggles and Molly Alvey was trying to fix things. Nothing to fix on that one as Caitlin Leffler perfectly sets to Walker, who knocks that one to the ground.
Again, setting up the table for dinner. And that's where the players feast. That's where your outside hitters, your right side, that's where they all feast. And they've done a really good job.
Julie Whittakin serves. An opportunity for Anna Taylor, who just lightly taps that one off the outstretched hands of Abby Walker, who was going for the block attempt. Kind of an awkward play, but it works out for the Musketeers.
Yeah, Xavier breaks that tie. Xavier's up 14-13 right now. Reset the table, set 3, 1-1. We'll see what happens.
We see in for the first time tonight for Xavier, Charlotte Moriarty, the outside hitter. Glendining's going to knock that one. Blocked to the net, controlled. Corsaro is going to set it up. It will be Moriarty taking it, and she'll come in for a point, and she'll get that point.
Yeah, Moriarty, looking at her, a freshman, LaGrange, Kentucky, 46 digs this year, 31 kills coming into the match. Was charted as a young player with a lot of potential for this Xavier squad.
Already making an impact here. Xavier in the lead, 15-13. The serve. Out of bounds. Side out, Cincinnati.
Yeah, this thing, if it stays this close, I mean, you might go this entire set without a timeout. I mean, this is pretty interesting stuff.
Serve over. Tapped over by Moriarty. Glendinning to Leffler. Set to LaGiel Williams. Blocked but kept up by Leffler. Now Glendinning knocks that one. Corsaro, great job to keep it up. Moriarty again, and too strong out of bounds. Something funny there. A chatter had just asked what the score was, and I mistyped 15-14, and I put it in the chat as 15-15.
Yeah, you spoke it into existence.
May have predicted the future. It is now 15-15 off that out-of-bounds hit by Moriarty.
Good stuff, Mr. Diedrich.
Serve over by the Bearcats. Anna Taylor's going to tap it. A great dive by Harrison to get it up, but nobody's able to return it. It was out of the reach of Gretchen Sigmund. (16-15). Musketeers lead here in set 3. No one has pulled away in set 3. Corsaro serves. Whittakin, a great job to keep it up. Leffler tried to tap it over. It was blocked. Faith Frame to Glendinning and out of bounds.
broke that stride a little bit. Now it's, Xavier's up 2. We'll see how that plays out going forward.
Corsaro serves it over. Leffler is going to set Glendening. Controlled by the Musketeers. Tap over by Kemp. Now Leffler to Glendening again. And that time it'll go for a Cincinnati point. 17-16.
Great return right there by Glendening. It was right on the side, toward the scores table, right down the line. It was a tough play for Xavier to try to make.
Caitlin Leffler will serve for the red and black. Gets it over cleanly. Corsaro set up to Taylor. A great job by Faith Frame to keep that one up. Blocked at the net. Kept up by Leffler. Glendening. Good up by the Musketeers. Emma Grace tries to hit that one. Julie Whittakin is into the chairs at the front row. Frame is able to return it. A great effort by the Bearcats. And out of bounds to the hustle play by Julie Whittakin. Goes their way, and the Bearcats are all tied up at 17.
She very well could have just pulled up and said, make the business decision. Kept that thing in play. Xavier hits it down the line. Faith Frame pulls away. Not going to take that one. Bearcat point.
Set. Kemp taps it over. Blocked the net by Williams. Kept alive. Glendening. Blocked the net and down on the Cincinnati side. That was Margot Kemp.
Xavier defense is starting to get better right now. They're starting to come more active on the net. Done a pretty good job. Cincinnati's got to try to find the gaps and try to find more ways to open this thing up and attack.
Clean serve. Leffler to Nolan. Kept up. Set to Kemp. She smacks that one into the hands of Williams. Now is set to Glendening. Same result. Kept alive by the Musketeers. Moriarty right to Frame. Leffler to Glendening again. And that one hit the Musketeers' hands and fell on their side. It's all tied 18-18 deep in the set 3. This one has been fun.
Great stuff there by Glendening. It was a good job getting it over, barely over the net, but obviously made an impact. And I think you mentioned it. Setting the table, tie ball game. There we go.
The serve by Glendening, controlled, returned over. Musketeers control Fallon's attempt, tapped over. Leffler to Nolan. Sydney Nolan making her presence felt. Puts the Bearcats in the lead, 19-18 in set 3. Timeout, Xavier.
Yeah, setting it up. Sydney Nolan, she got to come alive here in these last couple points and try to break this thing away. I mean, outside hitter's been getting after it. She's playing on the right side right now. We'll see if things are on the right side of fortune for Cincinnati before we go back on break.
We are all tied up here in sets 1-1. Set 3 is 19-18. Cincinnati lead. We'll be back after a short break on Bearcat Sports Radio. We're back here, deep into set 3. Cincinnati's in the lead, 19-18. It's been a tight one. No one's been able to pull away. Glendening serve, kept up by Corsaro and the Musketeers. Emma Grace lightly taps that one over, but it's into the net. Unfriendly net says no.
Unfriendly net and a little too friendly on the tap. Just not going to put that much on it, but works out for Cincinnati, we'll say that.
Bearcats up 2, trying to take set 3 to go up 2-1. Glendinning serve is going to be returned by Kemp, and a well-placed into the back corner.
Yeah, I looked at Glendinning on the back row, and she was like, I wanted it, you know? But, again, that was a good shot over there. It would have been a tough recovery to get back over to the left corner and try to make a play on that. Again, the game stays tight. Or set, if you will.
Neeson, serve, kept up, set to Nolan. Sydney Nolan absolutely killing the Musketeers right now and killing that point. 21-19, Faith Frame to serve.
Leader in kills. She's out there killing it right now. Frame serves it cleanly.
The set. Grace.
Ooh,
blocked at the net by Nolan.
Ooh. Look like Aziz Bandego out there blocking a shot.
Sydney Nolan putting the Bearcats up 3.
Not today.
Little Dikembe Mutombo action, if you will.
No.
The set, this time to Kemp. Goes the Bearcats' way again. Timeout. Xavier. Cincinnati's up 4. It's 23-19. Coming out of that last timeout, they stormed ahead. Now they're in the lead, 2 points away from taking set 3.
They have to close out. That's the big thing. I mean, it's been back and forth, and Cincinnati's kind of inched their way, and, you know, their gap in the last couple of points. Just finish the job. Finish the job. You go up 2-1, and then try to close it out in set 4. But again, the finer details right here. You can't give Xavier any sort of momentum, any sort of chance, and you got to take things into account and try to win this thing right here, right now.
I mean, you're really feeling good if you take set 3 that you could take the full game.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's the momentum swing because Xavier took set 1, Cincinnati takes set 2. If they're able to take set 3, they're riding on that wave pretty far. They're going to continue to try to do that. I mean, looking at right now some of the stats, I mean, 51 digs, 2 blocks, 38 assists, 39 kills. I mean, they got a 2-kill advantage over Xavier, so. And the hitting percentage as well. It is nice. They have that on the scoreboard out here, which is a really nice linear scoreboard, I will say. But Cincinnati's hit percentage 24.3%, and then Xavier at 14%. Cincinnati's got to try to find ways to take advantage and find some zones.
Faith Frame serving. Over cleanly. The set. Grace taps that one, kept in by Glendinning. Now the set. Leffler to Nolan. Point. Cincinnati.
Nolan trying to put a stamp toward the end of this third set. She was brought here to do big things, and she's doing them at the moment.
24-19, the Bearcats are 1 away, and a serving error by Faith Frame. Classic announcer jinx right there.
Yes, we do have to remember we're on the headset right now, so anything that we say can be used against us in a figurative court of law.
Xavier down 4. It's Margot Kemp serving. They need a big rally. Glendinning to Leffler. Set to Nolan. Fallon Stewart. Doesn't matter. Blocked at the net. Point Xavier.
Cincinnati's got to try to close out. It's 24-21. They're up. Any momentum that Xavier's gaining right now, Cincinnati has to put an end to it and silence it.
Margot Kemp serves it over. Leffler to Nolan for the set. Cincinnati goes up 2-1 as they pull away at the end of this tight set 3, and they're feeling good about this one.
That's how you put the finishing touches on it in the end of that set. Sydney Nolan had a ton of points on the end. that was impressive on her end. We'll see how this thing plays out going forward. That finishing was it 25? It was 25-21 was the final on set 3, but we've got a good one to finish.
Definitely a great match here. It's been tight the entire time. I mean, there's been a few runs that have happened, just a few. But the Bearcats have been playing solid ball ever since they dropped the first set. Now they're one set away from taking this whole entire match on the road and sending these Xavier fans home sad. And cold if you're in the Speedos.
That is very true. It is September, but that sun goes down. Stuff gets pretty cold here in Ohio.
2 minutes of break here on Bearcat Sports Radio. We'll return with set 4 in the Cintas Center. Set 4 action coming to you here in just a moment. You missed that last set. It was a tight one. Cincinnati pulled away at the end to win that one 25-21. They lead 2-1 and a chance to take the game if they win set 4. They dropped that first set, and since then, they've played solid. Start set 4. Carly Glendening serves over cleanly. They'll set to Moriarty. Oh my goodness. Whew. I mean, you heard the smack on that one all the way back at Clifton. I mean,
that's a ways away.
I'm going to have to ask the soccer crew if they heard that one. Any suspicious noises at 7:31 p.m.?
Detective work right there.
Leffler, set. Sydney Nolan, great job by Grace to dive and keep that one up. Return. This time, it's Legia Williams, and she's not able to get to that one. Cincinnati point. Faith Frame will serve. The set blocked off of Sydney Nolan, and on the ground on the Cincinnati side, that was Quincy Thomas who knocked that one over. So we'll see Corsaro serve for Xavier. They're up 2-1 early in set 4. Walker to Leffler. Now to Stewart. off the hands of the diving Corsaro. Point Cincinnati.
Going back and forth here. A good start to this being 2-2. See how this plays out.
Sydney Nolan to serve. Corsaro controls easily. Now Moriarty, too strong, way out of the back line. And point Cincinnati. I will say, the guys in Speedos forgot to change sides this set.
They did.
They had been following our bench. They've forgotten to change sides, or maybe they did it on purpose to support their side.
It could be the case. I mean, they do need some support. And plus, we have some Cincinnati people over in the spot where Xavier was earlier. So maybe they took over and
kicked them out.
Yeah, like, hey, get out of there. You guys can go rep your team. We'll rep ours.
4-2, Cincinnati. Ooh. Make that 4-3. Moriarty again.
Ooh, that had some steam on it. Moriarty's a redhead, but woo, that was some fire off that ball.
Flaming in more ways than one. Eloise Jakowski serving again for the Musketeers. 4-3, Cincinnati leads. Glendening ups it, set. Walker tapped over and returned. Moriarty blocked to the net by Walker. Again, this time gets it over. Nolan to Leffler. Fallon Stewart kept alive. Fake set and tapped over. Controlled by the Bearcats. Xavier again. Diving, Sydney Nolan keeps it up. Stewart. Nobody can score. Fallon Stewart.
Oh!
And a miscommunication as Sydney Nolan just ran over Faith Frame and the ball falls on the Bearcats side.
That was a great volley on both sides. They were going back and forth with that one, but after a point, it was just trying to save it. And like you mentioned, Nolan just ran into Frame and unable to get after that one. That ball was set up pretty nicely to go after it, but again, just miscommunication at the same time. Just a lot of chaos.
4-4, Jakowski's serve is over. Leffler tried to lightly tap that one over, but she was blocked at the net and had no chance of keeping that one up. 5-4, Musketeers.
Yeah, Xavier, they got sent a package, and they said, nope, we're returning this right now. And Leffler just had her hands full, literally, with the ball.
Jakowski continuing to serve, and that one just a miscontrol there by Glendening. Off her hands and out of bounds. (6-4) lead. Nolan taps it in the air. Stewart's going to have to try to get this one over, and it's into the front row. She's not able to get there.
Yeah, probably a smart business decision, excuse me, on that end. I mean, that was, again, first row. There are some kids down there. Don't want to run them over at all.
Nolan taps that one up. The set to Stewart. She gets that one over.
That was a great set, cross court. They would get Stewart on the run. Found the spot. Cincinnati's got to try to build this thing back up. Try to even it up.
Julie Whittakin serving again. Kept up by Corsaro. Now the set, Moriarty tries to tap it over, but Nolan's there. Leffler to Glendening. Point. Bearcat side out, 6-7. Whittakin serve. Kept up, they'll set it. Moriarty, set was behind her. She has to hit it over. Leffler to Walker. Abby Walker ties things up at 7s. Bearcats got 4 in a row. Trying to take the lead now, it's Whittakin. Serves. Blocked at the net. Margot Kemp couldn't get it over. Glendening said, not today, nuh-uh. Bearcats have stormed back, taking the lead 8-7. Reminder, they lead 2-1. And if they take this fourth set, they will win the entire match. A mistake by Corsaro. Couldn't control the serve by Whittakin. And the Cincinnati Bearcats are on a roll.
Swinging and shifting of the tide. You got to love it if you're a Bearcat fan.
Corsaro controls this one this time. Set to Moriarty, and she knocks that one right into the net. 7 in a row for the Bearcats. Timeout, Xavier.
Yeah, this is a Cincinnati team that last year they were fine in conference play, in non-conference play. They weren't the best in conference play last year. They're trying to get themselves ready in this non-conference play, get over some hurdles, some mental hurdles and everything else to try to get themselves ready for their second year of Big 12 play. They're going to have to be ready. They're going to have to stand tall. And this obstacle for them to get over, trying to beat Xavier for the first time since 2021, it's there. You know, it's there. You have a 3-point lead. Go forward. You got to close this set out. Win it 3-1. Go back over to Clifton and get ready for Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this means a lot. The rivalry, crosstown, both these teams trying to make their mark, leave their mark. Bearcats have put themselves in a great spot to win this one on the road. Currently they're up 3 and up 2-1. You mentioned last year's team didn't do the best in conference play. They're looking to change that this year. A lot of change on the team in general. The roster had a lot of turnaround. Obviously, the big addition, Sydney Nolan, we've talked about a lot tonight. She's made her presence known. Then you go look at Fallon Stewart, the freshman.
Yeah.
She's played a lot of volleyball. Faith Frame, tied for the team leader in sets played. I mean, new additions making big impacts, but that's not to mention the returners. I mean, Caitlin Leffler, Glendening, Abby Walker, they've all left their mark tonight as well.
Legia Williams as well. I mean, it's been a whole slew of members for the Bearcats. They've done a good job.
Out of the timeout, a mistake by Whittakin, serving error. Side out, Musketeers.
Another thing is, I mean, we've had 3 freshmen on the court tonight. We've gotten some of these young players an opportunity. Obviously, Fallon Stewart and Faith Frame being very consistent ones, but got to get the young players opportunities.
Leffler set to Glendening, goes the way of the Bearcats. They take it right back, and Abby Walker will serve. Walker, a close one, might have gone out of bounds. Musketeers elected to keep it in. Glendening hits that one over, controlled easily. Now Emma Grace, diving keep up by Whittakin, and then tapped over. Julie Whittakin is fired up. Laid out for that one on the sideline.
Go make a play.
The effort is rewarded. Bearcat point, Walker serves. They're up 4. Kemp, that time right in between Whittakin and Nolan. Looked like Nolan kind of pulled back, didn't want to dive into Whittakin. Probably a good decision there.
Give her a chance to rest up a little bit after making that really good effort there on the side. I mean, that was spectacular.
Kemp serves, hits the net. Williams able to control it, lightly tapped over, and well placed by Glendening. Kemp not fast enough to dive and get that one.
Veteran move. You see everybody go up. Hey, I'll give it a little drop shot. Tap. Find that zone.
Kemp subbed out after that one. We see Corsaro come back in for Xavier. She's a libero. Leffler serve. Neeson controls. Set to Emma Grace. Tapped, but Leffler's there. Now Frame to Nolan. Blocked the net, kept up by Glendening. Williams tried to get it up. Tough play into the net.
That ball kept going into the net. I mean, it's a tough thing to keep an eye on because that ball goes into the net. It's not just going to bounce right back off. It absorbs into it. And then the roll is kind of like, it's a little fishy right here. I don't know which way it's going to come off or how fast it will.
Musketeers serve controlled. Leffler sets to Glendening. Perfectly placed. Powerful kill.
She's done a really good job there on the outside. I mean, she's made plays. Sydney Nolan's made plays. Fallon Stewart's made plays. All the outside hitters for Cincinnati have done a very good job. And it hasn't just been one person. It's been a whole rotation.
14-10, Bearcats leading here in set 4. Trying to come away with a match win. Blocked at the net. That one's Stewart. 5-point lead for Cincinnati. The serve by Glendening. Return and blocked in the net by Nolan and Williams. A second try, tapped over by Taylor. Frame dives to keep it alive. Hit over, blocked right into Legia Williams' face. Musketeer point, looks like Legia Williams is okay. Took a shot there.
That just got intense.
A great dive by Frame, though, to get that one up.
Took that ball to looks like the eye, nose. It's kind of hard to tell up here, but.
Coaching staff is checking on her.
What an attempt right there. Jeez.
Molly Alvey checking to see if she's okay. There might be a cut, and she is going to be taken out to be treated by the staff.
The women's basketball team walking a little bit below us? Looks like it.
Looks like
the women's basketball section over there, possibly. That's Katrina Merriweather down there, I believe.
I believe it is. Looks like the women's basketball team has come to support the volleyball team.
There we go. There we go. Love to see the support there. That's awesome.
Few players down there, the coaching staff here supporting their Bearcats team. And their support has been helping. They're in the lead, 15-11, 2 sets to 1.
And they both play on courts, so, they got to, court sisters in that regard, so just be there, support each other.
Looks like Legia Williams is okay, and she'll stay in the game.
That was a hard shot to the face, though, with the ball. That was tough.
Emma Grace sends it over for the Musketeers. Frame dives to keep that one alive. No one there to control it. Side out. Xavier. (15-12). Grace sends it over again. Leffler sets. Stewart blocked the net but kept alive. Good job by the Musketeers. Moriarty taps. Knocked up in the air. Leffler jumped for it but just couldn't reach that by a hair.
The mistiming right there. Very close. Try to jump and try to regain the control on that. But again, that ball did float a little bit. I'm in contempt on which way to go. But again, Cincinnati's going to try to get it back. 15-13. See what happens.
15-13 here deep into set 4. Bearcats lead 2 sets to 1. We'll be back after a short break here on Bearcat Sports Radio. Coming back from the timeout, it'll be Emma Grace continuing to serve for the Musketeers. Both teams with 1 timeout left in set 4. Stewart knocks that one, kept alive by Grace. The set to Moriarty. Frame is there. Leffler to Stewart again. That's dangerous. Off the hands of Taylor and out of bounds. Bearcats take it back. And I got to say, looking at the crowd here in set 4, I see a lot more red than I see blue.
Whole lot of red, they say.
A sea of red, if you will. And another Bearcat point. Out of bounds, off the Musketeers, 17-13. Is Cincinnati pulling away here?
They got to try. I mean, what happened last set? I mean, they were up 4, and then they were able to gravitate away. Hopefully this is the same case.
Bracero gets it up, tapped over by Taylor. Leffler set to Nolan, blocking out of bounds again. 5-point lead now for the Bearcats.
Outside hitters doing their job, making it difficult for the Xavier defense, and Sydney Nolan starting to wake back up again toward the end of a set.
Frame serves. Moriarty kicks it in the air. Set. Knocked over by Taylor, out of bounds, off of Sydney Nolan.
This is a good play by Anna Taylor. Give credit where credit is due. With her, again, coming into the game, second on the team in kills. 24 sets played. That's a little bit of everything for this team.
Bracero serves. Leffler set. Fake to Walker. Nolan hits it over. This time on the Musketeers, they'll set Taylor. Kept alive by Nolan. Now Glendening in the middle. Diving. Keep up by the Musketeers. Leffler gets it. Stewart hits it over. Too strong out of the back line.
Yeah, set it up right there for Stewart. She was a little far back and, wasn't able to get a great angle down on the ball. Kind of just let it hang a little bit, and that's why I went out the back end.
18-15, Cincinnati still in the lead. Xavier serve controlled and knocked into the net by Abby Walker. She was trying to get that one down as quick as she could.
She was close, very close on that one. The table was set. It was right on that white part of the net and just shot down, but very close, a game of inches on that end.
Bracero still serving for the Musketeers. Lightly taps that one over. Walker controls. Now Stewart knocked right back over by Moriarty. Leffler to Nolan. Point Cincinnati.
What are we saying here? You got Sydney Nolan toward the end of a set, starting to make a return. The Monsters come out at night, but she is one heck of a player, and they're going to need her down the rest of the stretch.
19-16, Bearcats leading here in set 4. Sydney Nolan to send it over. Grace controls it. Tapped over by Taylor. A little bit less of a tap and more of a slam.
More of a slam. And when I mean monster, like on both sides, I mean, you're talking about, some great hits down into the earth. You're talking about, hey, I don't want to get in their way at all. I'm going to let that ball go. I'll make a business decision. But again, there's both, players on both sides for Xavier and Cincinnati that are making really good plays.
Jakowski sends it into the net on the serve. Goes right back to the Bearcats. 20-17, 3-point lead deep into set 4 with a chance to take this one 3-1.
Broke 20. You gotta take it home. You gotta take it home now.
Julie Whittakin serving. She served when they went on that rally late into set 2 to take that one. Moriarty gets it over, kept up by Glendening. Leffler gets it out of the net, tapped over by Carly Glendening. This time it'll be Kemp in a well-placed. Nolan wasn't able to dive in time.
Leffler, she ran down that line of the net. She ran the entire way, had to bounce back. Sydney Nolan kind of had to take two different spots on that one, kind of in between. It was just a good shot down by Xavier.
Served by Neeson. Frame gets it up. Whittakin higher into the air and returned over by Glendening. Kemp knocked up by Walker. Now Leffler set. Glendening returned and controlled. A little bit of confusion on the Bearcat side. Frame gets it up to Glendening. Good save by Neeson. Walker lightly taps it over. Free ball for the Musketeers. Kemp.
Ooh.
Dive by Sydney Nolan to get it up and over, but it landed out of bounds.
A little too much mustard on that one. I mean, trying to block that had a lot of heat coming off it. Any sort of block, that ball's just going to sail, and it definitely did sail over by the Wolf Family Court. My fault. Reading it backwards is kind of weird as that.
20-19, Cincinnati leading here in set 4. They're trying to take this one, improve to 5-2 on the season, and take this rivalry win here at Norwood University. Enemy campus, enemy territory.
What's the X for if they're Norwood?
Good question. I do not know.
Well, normally, actually, I won't say that. I'll say that after. But again,
that is a private conversation.
That is a private conversation that will take place off of the microphone. Nothing bad, ladies and gentlemen, but it'll just take place off the headset.
If you missed the beginning of the broadcast, me and Chase arrived here at the Cintas Center. Great hospitality.
Yes,
they got it set up, fixed the Ethernet for us, gave us a great booth. We've had a great view all game.
Trying to paint the picture as best that we can.
And frame it.
There you go. I like it.
Hell yeah.
That's how you do it.
Both teams out of the timeout. It'll be Neeson. Defensive specialist from Cincinnati. Went to Roger Bacon High School.
Right up the road.
Whittakin controls. Leffler set. Glendening. Neeson tried to run that one down, but knocked it out of bounds. Side out Cincinnati.
Starting to sense it a bit. Starting to sense it. Every point Cincinnati gets from here on out, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger once you break that 20 mark.
And it'll be Abby Walker serving cleanly. Set to Emma Grace, and that one's dangerous.
Yeah, that's pretty dangerous right there. Setting it up. Grace able to spike it down, had a lot of heat on it, has some oomph in it, but, you know, that's her job, though. Kills. She's up at the front of the net. She's making those plays. They set her up, and she does business.
Served over. Whittakin knocks it up to Leffler. Set. Glendening. Point. Bearcats.
It's been a mixture of hitters. It's been a mixture of right side and outside, and it's been Nolan. It's been Glendening. It's been Fallon Stewart. All of them have come up at different times, and it's stacked on together, and that's why Cincinnati's at this point.
They set it up to Grace. This time taps it over. Leffler keeps it alive. Nolan's going to lightly tap that well-placed. Corsaro couldn't dive for it. 3-point lead, 23-20. Cincinnati on the verge of taking this.
That couldn't have been a better shot right there. You know, that kind of a drop shot, but at the same time, it was a tap, but it died really quick. And it was nothing that Xavier could do about it.
I mean, they're just putting the light touch on the ball so that it falls down.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati, they're leading 3 points here, trying to take set 4 and go away with a win. This would be a big one.
This really would. It would spark the confidence, and this is, you know, Cincinnati's first true, say standalone, but, you know, it's been tournaments the first 2 weekends of the season. This is a true road game where we're playing and then we're done. You have one opportunity. And coming on the road here against Xavier Thursday night, Xavier's got Kent State tomorrow. Cincinnati's got Kent State on Saturday. If they're able to stack these things on top of each other, it's going to be big going forward. And they got a couple of matchups next week. I believe they play Akron, and then they also play Morehead State. So they have a couple of home matches. Their first home match Saturday, they can get this one here in the city of Cincinnati, but in rivalry territory, the psyche looks pretty good.
We get a good look into the huddle from our view, and it's Caitlin Leffler who was leading that huddle and hyping the team up on the bench for that timeout. Both teams out of the timeout, 23-20. Caitlin Leffler will serve. That one gotten over cleanly. They set it up. Grace knocks it over. Frame keeps it up. Leffler's going to have to knock that one over. Free ball for the Musketeers. They set it, blocked at the net. Grace again, that time blocked and down by Latia Williams.
Here comes Cincinnati coming back. It's not coming back, but they're making amends to try to end this one.
1 point away. Xavier needs a prayer answered. Corsaro. They set it up to Grace, and that prayer is answered for now as Emma Grace said grace and got the point.
Justin, one of a kind. The turbines are moving. Are we looking at here? Oh, slick spot on the court. Don't want to have any of those in crunch time.
Do not want to slip here when the game is on the line. It will be Logan Flaw serving for the Musketeers. Bearcats still one away from winning this thing. Knocked in the air. Try to run down by Winnikin. Williams will tap it over. A great job by Winnikin to keep this alive. Grace knocks it over. Leffler dives to keep it alive. Sydney Nolan. Taylor knocks that one out of bounds. Cincinnati takes it. 3-1. A mosh pit on the court by the Bearcats team, celebrating the big win here. What a game. What a game.
I mean, wow. A way to end it like that. You go back to your best players to try to close this thing out. The outside hitters were the big part in this.
The crowd erupting in a down the drive to celebrate the win and support the team. They're running over to the corner, jumping, celebrating. What an exciting moment for this team.
Going down the drive back home to Clifton. You know, the dub, that was huge. I want to join them on this one.
The whole volleyball team has joined in on down the drive now. What an amazing moment. Taking the crosstown rivalry for themselves on the road. And what a great game it was to call with you here, Chase, on the road.
It definitely was.
A great environment, a great match,
Oh,
and a fun time.
couldn't have set it up any better. I mean, coming in on the road, getting the dub, going back home for a few days, few games to get under their belt and try to get themselves off to a really nice start before conference play gets going. And, you know, Cincinnati, you got to be feeling pretty good right now.
With that win, the Bearcats improved to 5-2, their next match being at home versus Kent State on the 14th. My name was Justin Diedrich. I was joined by Chase Yance on the call on Bearcat Sports Radio. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great night, Cincinnati fans.